All right, we're live. All right, everybody, hello and welcome to our first Tuesday training. It's Josh and Jenna here.
Hey, what's up,
Hey,
everybody?
guys. Just go ahead and throw a comment in the chat if you can hear us and if you can see us. We're super excited to do this training. Let's see who we have on the webinar today.
You forgot to turn your light on.
Oh, I got to turn my light on. Hang on one sec.
This time of day, the sun starts getting crazy, so I'm gonna get that going. You have to put it on battery.
There we go.
Josh doesn't have fancy lights in his office, so.
Jen's office is way cooler than mine. All right, guys, hello and welcome. This is our Tuesday training webinar. Jen and I got really inspired, and we wanted to bring you guys some insane value content, really good training for you guys to take your business to the next level. So we committed to do a training every Tuesday to bring you guys exactly what you need for your business. So we're really excited to kick this off. These are going to be recorded. They will be posted in the back office as well. We're actually building a whole new training module in the training section of our website. So these will be posted there. So don't worry if you miss one. You will be able to get access to all of them in the back office.
We are excited to do this. We haven't done a training like this in a long time.
Been a while.
And, when we first started, I don't know if Zoom existed or we didn't know about it, but we just did conference calls in the beginning. So this is kind of in lieu of a conference call. We figured this is better to just see our faces, right? So let's just go ahead and get started. It's already after 3 o'clock. So we're going to start from the beginning, guys, okay? Because as you have new affiliates coming on board, we want to make sure that the training makes sense for the newest affiliate. So we're going to start straight from the beginning. And this topic is going to be basically you're new, now what? And what to do when you're a brand new affiliate just coming on board. And when you guys have new people in your team, of course, you're going to have them watch this video. So that's the topic of this training video. So we're going to go ahead and get started.
They're asking if you can talk louder.
Yes, I can talk louder, but turn your volume up on your
phone.
Turn
your volume way up.
Or on your computer as well.
Awesome. So this training is really for everyone who is brand new in the business, but it's also if you have a big organization as well, because the most important thing is that when you are building a business that you start your business off correctly. So the purpose of this training is it's designed to help both the brand new person. So this could be day one for you, or it could be, you're a big leader in the organization and you're launching new affiliates in your organization. So this isn't necessarily just for the beginner. This is for, the advanced networker as well, because you do want to make sure that you launch your people correctly. So let's go over some of the most basic housekeeping things first.
Okay, so when you first enroll, it's a very important time to have people log into their back office, right? This seems pretty basic, but unfortunately it needs to be said, right? So the first thing that you need to do when you are launching a brand new affiliate is have them get acquainted with their back office. We call this housekeeping. So you want to go into detail what that means.
So the first thing that's important is auto ship. Auto ship is a great way for affiliates to conveniently have products shipped to your doorstep every single month. So there's various auto ship, packages or products that you can choose from. But one thing that I always train to everybody is you want to make sure that day one you set your auto ship so that you never miss out on your order. And you definitely don't want to skip it, forget about it, not have product. And this isn't just like a way to qualify for commissions, but having a personal product story is a really big deal. And maybe you can tell them some of the benefits of having product on hand and why, it's important for them to have a product story.
Well, if you're out of product, you're out of business, right? We've heard that before, and that's so true. We have affiliates that just went to the CBD Expo and popped up a whole booth there. Of course, it's important for them to have product on hand to be able to do those kinds of things. So not just for retail, but also for the people that you come across in your everyday life. You know, when you're talking about a product, people want to impulse buy, or they want to be able to try it. And if you don't have any with you, it's going to make it more difficult, I think, to pivot into just look on my website. You know, it's very important to have that product on hand, but not just for your auto ship, but also just to make sure that you're getting the products that you love every single month. For me, I almost ran out of shampoo and I'm like, I need to go to the office or change my auto ship. I need to do something because I'm not running out of this shampoo. I need this. But you know, there's so many different products. You're gonna wanna set your essential ones up so that you at least always get those. My mom, I could use her as an example. She messed up one of her orders and was texting me. She's like, I didn't get my product this month. What do I do? And so to avoid those kind of issues, you know, just to make sure you always have that product on hand.
And also, like, just to relate it back to, like, you know, real life, because we are talking about network marketing. But like when we go to like a restaurant, right? And we're so excited to order something that's our favorite thing on the menu, right? It's like the one thing that we order every time. And if they don't have it or they're out of stock, it is like one of the most devastating things if you went to a restaurant specifically to order that one thing that you love. So you always want to have access to the products because, you know, like Jen said, you need to have that personal story. But when somebody says, hey, I want to try it, you better be prepared with your product. And the last thing you want to say is, I'm waiting for my auto ship to come in, or I forgot to place my order, or I just don't have product. So I believe it is one of the most important things. And in our compensation plan, our business model, it is 90 personal volume to maximize the compensation plan. So you can generate personal volume either through a personal purchase or by getting retail customers. So go into your back office, go into settings, set your auto ship up, and then whatever you need to make up in difference in retail, or you can just set it for 90 or 100 points as well. We have a lot of packages that are 100 points, like Essential Oils are 100 points, or the HempWorks Director Pack is 100 points. Those are very popular packages that you could set up for your auto ship. Want to move on to the next one?
Yes, the next important thing is to set your rotator tool. So if you're new to network marketing, you may think that that sounds completely crazy. What is this? But it's very important in our compensation plan, especially to understand how to use the rotator and how to set it. So I'll let you talk about what you think the best strategy is for people that are brand new coming on.
Sure, yeah. So when you get started in your business and you start enrolling people, they're either going to fall on your left team or your right team, right? Our compensation plan is based on having two legs, a left leg and a right leg. So it's important that you set up your rotator, because when you start enrolling people, that's where people are going to fall. It's based on where you've set your rotator in your back office. So there's 3 different settings. One setting is left leg, another setting is right leg, and then another setting is alternate, where it'll go one left, one right, one left, one right, and so on. So it's important to set your rotator up day one when you get started. Now, I'm a big fan of setting it on alternate, because I believe that if you really want to crush this compensation plan and hit the top ranks, you have to build both legs. I'm not a believer in building just one leg. I believe in building 2 massive legs. So, you know, there's this whole thing of having a power leg in the industry. I believe that everybody has 2 power legs. It's your left leg and your right leg, but you have to build both sides. So when you're brand new, if you're enrolling, let's say 4 people, I believe that you should set your rotator on alternate so that you get 2 on the left leg and 2 on the right leg. It's different as you build a business, because as your business starts to grow, you'll realize that one leg takes off. And once you have one leg that takes off, that's usually a good opportunity for you to set your rotator to the other side so that you can balance your legs in the binary. But starting out, I believe it's the best way to do it is to set it on alternate, start building both legs, and then when one leg takes off, set your rotator to the other leg and put more energy to balance your legs in the binary. You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. So at first, usually it starts out with 0 on each side, but as your legs start to take off, then you want to adjust accordingly. And that's why we give you the option. Somebody asked, how do the pre-enrollees fall into the rotator? They don't fall into the rotator until after they upgrade as an affiliate.
Well, when you set your rotator, it's both for pre-enrollees and affiliates.
Oh, well, there you
so
go.
you have to make sure, you have to make sure that if you're pre-enrolling people or you're signing up affiliates, it is based on how your rotator is set. So
once they are affiliates, they're stuck in there.
Yes.
That's their permanent place after that. All right, let's move on to, so I put settings as well because people need to know that they have to update their bank details and their settings as far as that goes. If you don't put in your banking details, then you're not going to be able to get paid on Thursday or on our monthly paydays. So make sure you put your information in there so that way we can pay you. Next is your website. You got to know about your website and all the URLs. You want to explain a little bit how to use those? I know they recently changed a little bit. So there's the pre-enrollee pages, there's the corporate facing pages, the hempworks.com, the mydailychoice.com. Should we talk about that?
Yeah, so one of the, I think one of the things that really separates My Daily Choice compared to other network marketing companies is how many tools we give affiliates in terms of websites, because 99% of network marketing companies, you get one website and that's it. And we've been able to put together a marketing system where you get access to preferred customer sites, pre-enrollee capture pages, your My Daily Choice corporate website. So there's a lot of different websites that are available when you become an affiliate, log into your back office, click on the My Website section. There's a lot of websites. So I would really separate them into a few categories. I think the pre-enrollee capture pages are really kind of your front door marketing system as you're prospecting. You're going after new prospects that are interested in the business. I would use the pre-enrollee capture pages. If you have people that want to enroll into the business or sign up as a customer right away, I would send them to either the My Daily Choice website or the HempWorks website, depending on which products they're interested in. But that's how I differentiate which website to use. Is it's really based on who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to prospects that are interested in the business, then I'm going to send them to the pre-enrollee capture pages. If I'm talking to people that may be interested in being a customer, or they want to buy different product lines, or they just want to kind of casually check things out, I'm going to send them to either the My Daily Choice or the HempWorks site. So that's how I use the different pages that are available.
So for me, I actually have 3 different links, right? So I use one for samples. I use the corporate page, the My Daily Choice or the HempWorks page for customers usually. And then I also use one capture page, 1 or 2 capture pages. I'll use one that's kind of CBD geared if I'm going for somebody that's really interested in CBD. And if somebody's more interested in lifestyle or something else, I may use one of the other ones that are more branded towards Mantra or some of our other product lines. Moving right along, let's talk about communication and how to plug your people in so that they never miss any important updates. We recently launched a new Telegram channel, so you can talk about that.
Yeah, let me just say, one of the, I think one of the things that made me really successful as a distributor in the field was how much I communicated to my leaders. Part of this business is, the activities that you do, plugging into events, but I think a big part of what we do as networkers is informing our team. Anytime there's a product launch, events that are happening, company announcements, news, you need to have your whole team plugged into that communication, because the faster your team has the information, the faster they can go to market and start selling that information. So we launched recently a new Telegram channel, which is our My Daily Choice news channel, where you can get updates right on your phone. So not everybody's on social media. Not everybody reads their emails these days. So Jen and I thought, how cool would it be to put a channel together that's a free messaging app. So it doesn't cost anybody anything to use the app, but they can get the notifications right on their phone. So the way to do it is to download Telegram. So you can get it in the App Store or the Android store. And once you download Telegram, you're going to join our My Daily Choice channel. So to do that, you can go to https://t.me/My Daily Choice news. We also posted it in our My Daily Choice social media group on Facebook as well. And I'll just show you this flyer. This was posted in the group as well. But that's how you get access to the Telegram channel. There's already like thousands and thousands of members and affiliates that have joined the channel already. And we're putting all of our company communication and updates in there as well. So definitely download it, plug in, and plug your team into it as well.
So we're also posting, obviously, in the My Daily Choice official group. So make sure you add people there on Facebook if they have a Facebook. And of course, teach them to check their emails, because our corporate communications do go out to emails as well. So Josh is going to type it into the chat now, so you guys have this link, and then we're going to get rolling. The next part is good. I'm excited about this.
All right, so I just posted in the chat box what the link to the channel is.
So save it and share it with everybody that joins your business. Okay, so moving right along, we're going to talk about setting expectations. This is very, very important when starting your business and having new affiliates in your business and join your business. So I feel like what happens more often than not is we're setting the expectation to make it sound like this is going to be a super easy business. And then when people discover that it's not a super easy business, they're very quick to leave or quit. So setting expectations is a very big deal. And I'm going to actually share something with you from one of my favorite books that I will be adding to my book list. The Ultimate Guide to Network Marketing is basically just a whole bunch of chapters filled from, leaders in our industry that have lots of experience, right? So here are the 5 things you don't want to say when you're setting the expectation for a new person. Ready? It's easy. Anyone can do it. You can make big money almost immediately in this business. Everybody wants this product. It sells itself. This is the best deal company pay plan management in the history of the world out there. Okay, making absolutes. All you have to do is talk to people you know. So when we set the expectations that it's so easy, anybody can do it, and that the product sells itself, you don't need any skills or whatever, we're setting the bar really low for ourselves, and we're also attracting the wrong sort of people into our business. We're actually attracting the desperados, the people that are looking to just get in something quickly and get out, right? They just want to make quick money. But the issue is when problems arise in their business, they're not going to be they're not going to have the mindset to continue the business because they were sold that it was going to be easy. So we have to look at the way we're pitching the business as well, which is a whole nother thing about prospecting. But setting the expectations is super important when you're bringing a new person on board. They have to know that this is entrepreneurship. There's going to be, dips in business. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be highs. There's going to be lows. And how to basically get through all of the times and the different stages of business. Anything you'd like to add to that? And I'll show you guys the book one more time so you can see.
Yeah, I think those are really good points. I think setting expectations when you're talking to people, but also setting realistic expectations for yourself is a really big deal in this industry for a lot of reasons. But one of the things that really helped me when I was a distributor in the field, and mind you, when I got into network marketing, I was broke as a joke, didn't have a big warm market, didn't really know anything about how to crush it in network marketing, but I was motivated, I was excited, I was hungry, and my mentor said, Josh, this is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And those words 11 years later have always stuck with me, because a lot of people in this industry, when times get tough, or like Jen said, when there's ups and downs, they run, they panic, they think this is a sprint. And this is not a sprint to the finish line. If you really want to build legacy type of income, build massive organizations in this industry, you have to be willing to give it time, period. You have to give it enough time to develop and build a mature organization. And we find often that, leaders in this industry, they get a little bit of success, times get tough, and then they run. And it's kind of like, it reminds me of the stock market, like the mob mentality, right? The mob mentality is when there's a little bit of panic in the stock market, and you sell off all your stocks. And the people that waited around, that held onto their stocks, wind up making it huge later on because they weathered the storm, right? So I think in this industry, we find that a lot, where people just, they times get tough and they just run, they panic, they have uncertainty. So I've always treated this business like a marathon, and just realized that this is really, network marketing is 3 to 5 year plan. This is not a 60, 90 day deal where you give it a couple months and see how it works.
Yeah, and when you set the expectations correctly, you have less people saying, how fast can I make money? And they start asking, what do I have to do to become successful in this business? And those are the right kind of people that you want in your business long term. Okay, so moving right along, let's talk about...
Before we go, can you talk to them about
Yes,
handling rejection? Because I know, like when you were brand new, when I was brand new, there was a lot of rejection. And maybe you can throw a comment on the Zoom right now if maybe you're brand new or you've experienced rejection and you don't really know how to handle it. So maybe you can talk a little bit about what you do when people reject you, or how you manage that.
I'm actually going to refer to one of your earlier trainings in MDC, when we were doing all kinds of events everywhere and you were the trainer in front of the room.
Those were good times.
Those were good times. And this is how Josh described it. So I'm going to just do his training real quick. So and this really changed my mindset about rejection, because at first I was emotionally attached to the outcome. When somebody told me no, I felt like they were telling me no. And I didn't know why they were telling me no. Why couldn't they understand that this is the greatest thing ever? Like, why don't they see what I see? So Josh did a training many times back in the day, right? And he talked about, it's just like a waitress or a waiter serving coffee, right? That's like all it is. And you see the waitress or waiter going around, do you want coffee? Yes. Do you want coffee? No. You want coffee? Yes. You want coffee? No. And you don't see the waitress crying because they said, no, I don't want any coffee. They're not emotionally attached to the outcome if they want coffee or not. It's just simply, no, thank you, or not right now, or I don't want coffee, so it's okay. So moving right along, it's really, if you ask enough people, you're going to have more yeses than nos at some point. And as you improve your skill and you get better at talking to people, that rejection gets less and less as you get better as a networker. But also, it doesn't hurt, because you realize that they're saying no really to themselves. They're not saying no to you. They're saying no that they don't want to go on this journey right now. And again, no doesn't always mean no forever. It just means no right now. So for me, I just think the most important thing is to remove your emotions out of the equation. You know, your job is to be the messenger. You're just delivering the message to the people that are in your life, and how they react to that message is really up to them. So we don't have to get wrapped up about that, because you will come across no's. There's no way to get to the top of this business without encountering people that tell you no. In fact, I reached out to one of our leaders who's very successful today. When I first approached him, he told me no. So he joined us a year later and is now almost at the very top of the compensation plan. So again, don't take any no's to heart, and just keep pushing, because at the end of the day, it is a numbers game. And the more people that you ask, the more bigger your business is going to grow.
Well said.
Do we have anything else on this topic before we move on?
I was just going to add to that. Jen hit the nail on that. It's sorting. That's all you're really doing is you're sorting for the people that want to run with you. And if you can become a professional sorter in this business, then it's not about sales. It's not about pitching people. It's about finding the people that are interested, that want to run with you. So I really like that example of the waiter or the waitress pouring coffee. Another good analogy to think about is like when you go to like a restaurant, or you go to, we don't eat fast food, but if you were to go into a fast food place and order a hamburger, they ask you, would you like fries with your meal? And they ask that to every single person that walks through that restaurant. Would you like fries with your meal? Would you like fries with your meal? And they are trained in their SOPs, their job description, that they have to ask that question. And why do they ask that question? Because they know if they ask the question enough times, they're going to get some yeses. They're going to sell some fries. So just realize that, like Jen said, you can't be emotionally attached to the outcome. When have you gone into a restaurant or, place to order food, and they ask you, hey, would you like this with your meal? Or would you like fries, or whatever they ask you, and you say no, and they throw their freaking apron off and say, I quit, I'm done.
You're the third person that told me no today.
Yeah, I can't believe all these people that don't want to buy what I have. I'm gone, bye. And they go to another place down the street. It would never happen. It would be crazy, right? But it happens all the time in network marketing. People are told no, and it's like, oh my God, I can't be in this company. I can't sell these products. I can't because they're told no once. And realize too that you're going to be told no a lot of times by the people that you're closest to. So a lot of times it's like your friends, your family, like your top people that are like, no, I'm not joining you. Like, I don't want to be involved in what you're involved in. And a lot of people take it personally. They're like, well, I thought we were friends. Now I need to block you on Facebook. Now I need to we're never talking to each other again. So a lot of people act like that in this industry. And I really like what Jen said, that no means no right now, and it doesn't mean no forever. So just realize it's a sorting process, and some people will, some people won't, some will wait, but the key is to just keep going, and eventually you will get some yeses.
Yeah, and it's important to maintain the relationship after you get a no. Like, okay, that's it. You can't come to Thanksgiving, Mom, because you told me no in my business. You don't believe in me, so I ain't coming to eat your turkey. Like, don't do that. Maintain the relationship, whether it's a yes or a no. And if they quit later on down the road, then maintain the relationship, whether, again, if it's something that's going to be for them or not. You don't want to wreck your relationships over this business, because it's a relationship business. So you got to keep that at the priority and the number one. All right, now we ready to go?
Let's go.
Let's go to the next thing. Okay, so this probably sounds basic, but it's so important and not taught enough. You have to build a list. And even if you think, well, my Facebook fan page or my Facebook personal page is my list, fine, but there's something special, I feel like, in making your actual list. Write it down on a piece of paper. I was going through a lot of my old notebooks the other day when I was going through all of my things, trying to clear out all my clutter. And I found all my notebooks of all the prospects that I ever wrote down in my history of network marketing. And I had notes on every single person. I had their name, their phone number, if they were like a 10 or 11, or if they were a 2, if I needed to come back to them. And I think it's so important that if you're brand new, even if you're not brand new and you haven't done this yet, it's important to do that. We have to build a list. I always say start out with 25 names. And if you can do more than that, do more than that, And it's important to add to this list on a daily basis. You want to add people consistently, because that's what it's going to take to build your business. So you want to talk a little bit about how to go after this list?
Well, a couple of things I want to add just quickly is when you're building your list, it's important to not prejudge people. Right. And I see that mistake a lot in the industry, where you say, oh, this person's too rich, or this person's too successful, or this person wouldn't be interested, or this person's a doctor, so I'm not going to put him on the list. And you start basically making decisions for everybody by not including them on your list. I was talking to a networker that was doing that. They were putting their list together and they're like, well, I didn't put this person or this person or this person or this person because of all these different reasons. So never prejudge anybody. You don't know who's going to be interested. And the point is let them make the decision, whether it's for them or not. Don't make the decision for them. So put everybody on your list, and you would be surprised how many people you can get on your list by just getting your phone out and going through your contact list. That's what's actually most shocking to me, is like, I think about like, man, who would I really want to share my daily choice with? And I get my contact list out on my phone and I start going through my contacts. And I'm like, man, I didn't even know I had him in my phone book on my phone, and I'll put that name down. So just getting your phone out and going through your contact list is a great way to start putting people onto your list. Social media, people that you email with, coworkers, friends, family, also professionals too, like who sold you insurance, who sold you your house. Those are great contacts to put on your list, because they're already in the business of inviting, prospecting, selling, following up. That usually translates into network marketing. So think about all the professionals in your life as well that you would want to put on your list. So you have this great big list now, and now it's time to contact your list. So do you want to start with that, or?
Yes, how to contact people on your list. So I am a big believer that in order to make withdrawals out of your relationships, you must first make deposits. Okay. So if you haven't talked to somebody in 5 years and the first thing out of your mouth is, hey, I joined a business, do you want to join it? That might be a tough sell. I'm just saying, some of us can do that. Maybe we can build that relationship up real fast again, but it's important to make deposits into these relationships first. What I mean by that is you're planting seeds, you're adding value, you're calling them up, you're listening to them, asking them how they're doing, and what's new in their life, and has anything changed recently. When I was in the insurance industry, my job literally was to call people on my list every single year or every 6 months as their renewals came up, and I had to ask them, has anything changed in your life? Because did you have a baby recently? I'm gonna have to add that baby to your policy. Or, did you recently get married? Or did you buy a car? Did you change cars? Or, all these kinds of things. So I had to learn this from my previous experience, but it's the same thing in network marketing. You have to stay, up to date with people's lives, because you never know when that moment's gonna be where they need this business. A lot can change in a short amount of time. And if somebody's, crushing it in their life and they're just absolutely on cloud nine, they don't need this business at all, 6 months from now, it might be a different story. So you want to maintain those relationships so that when they're ready to join, or when they have an opening of interest, you're the person that they reach out to first. So when you first call these people, it's about building that relationship. How you pivot into the sale or into a more, business-minded conversation is by listening for their pain points, listening for the need. Like, what do they need in their life? Are they saying that they are maybe product, focused? Are they interested in trying the product? Are they mostly financially interested? Maybe this would be a good, pivot into the business opportunity. It's all about listening and finding the needs out of that person, and then simply offering the solution that you have with your business at My Daily Choice. What would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything you said was spot on. I mean, there's different types of relationships that we all have. Like, some people we're really close with, some people, we were close with a long time ago, and we're trying to reconnect with them. So there's different levels of our relationships, I would say, whether they're close friends or kind of like, maybe they're your best friend. I don't know. And I approach all of those different people differently. So it kind of depends on who I would be talking to. If it's somebody that I haven't been in communication with for a long time, I want to reach out to that person and let them know that I'm interested in reconnecting with them. So that'll be either through a phone call, or just if they live in my state, then it would be a face-to-face meeting. So that's coffee, lunch, or just having an opportunity to reconnect with that relationship. So kind of like Jen said, I don't go straight into the pitch on those people. because I feel like they're going to be completely turned off. I want to reconnect with those relationships first. But there are people that I'm close enough with where I don't need to reconnect with them or build a relationship with first, and I can go into more of a pitch with those people. And the way that I would do that is primarily two things, and I call it the excite and invite, where I let that person know that I'm really excited because I have some big news to share with them. And I'll either invite them to get on a call with me. So I'll say, hey, like, when's the next time you can get on a call, because this is time sensitive, it's urgent, it's big, and I'm getting ready to launch something very big to my network. So we need to talk. And the last thing you want to do is make it seem like it's not urgent, because in this industry, and especially if you're trying to build a business rapidly, like, your prospects aren't going to be excited if you're like, hey, I got this business, I've got some news, but I'm not really sure if I want to share it with you yet, and I don't know if I'm excited or not excited. I'm a little skeptical. But like, if you presented yourself that way and I was your prospect, I'd be like running the other direction, right? So for me, I always tell them it's big, it's urgent. I let them know how excited I am. And then once I've piqued their interest, I'm either inviting them to take a look at the capture page system, or I'm inviting them to a live event. So that's how I get them excited, and then I invite them to the next step. So you're really piquing their interest first before you're getting them into a presentation. So that's how I would position it with my prospects and my list. It would be something simple like, hey, Jenna, I'm really excited to share some news with you. This is really big. It's urgent. When can I get 5 minutes of your time? I have to share this with you. And she'd say, wow, I've got some time right now, or, a little bit later. And then I'd get on a call and I'd pique her interest and take her to the next step.
So as you're in network marketing for a longer period of time, your list is going to mature, because you've learned that, the money's in the list, right? So the money's in the relationships. So you get better at maintaining these relationships. Like Josh said, he's got a massive database of all networkers, right? That's his whole career since he's been 18 years old. So of course he can go straight into that. And because he's got a good reputation as a networker, he didn't bounce around to a lot of different companies. He didn't make any huge mistakes. He's had success after success. So because he's built his reputation that way, I'm going to listen to him if he calls me and says, hey, I got something big, right? Not just because he's my husband, y'all. Just stay with me here, okay? But these are all things to consider when you're going after your prospects. If you've got a lot of network marketers that are following you, it's going to be easier to talk to them about your business right away, because they already get it. You don't have to ease your way into the conversation as you would maybe your warm market, who's going to be naturally skeptical, not only to you just going into business, but the industry as a whole. So definitely different ways to go after that list. I know when I launched with My Daily Choice, I already had my list like ready to go. I was already prepping them for this huge launch that we were going to do, because I knew when My Daily Choice was going to launch. And once I went live with it, I had a flood of people come join us, because I had already prepped my list for my big launch. So that kind of brings us to the next, or we want to talk about prospecting, yeah?
Let's segue into this here, because it kind of relates.
All right. So that brings us to the next point, which is planning your launch. So some of us get into this business and we literally fail to launch. We don't launch at all. And we somehow we get really insecure about being in business, and we go into the witness protection program where now instead of reaching out to everybody, we hide from everybody. And if they just so happen to uncover that we've started a business, only then will we talk about it, right? You have to launch your business with integrity and with fire and passion, and you've got to be proud of the business that you're launching. So yes, Diane and Josh said that earlier and I laughed at him, but Absolutely. It's your grand opening. If you were to start a traditional brick and mortar business, you'd have a grand opening, right? You'd have
with balloons,
balloons, banners,
you'd have
scissors,
everything,
ribbon cutting, the whole 9 yards, right? So in network marketing, don't take shortcuts to launching your business. Now, of course, you don't have to, get balloons or do all that if you're just online, but I mean, maybe that will help. But you have to launch your business in order to announce to people your big news that you are now open for business and taking orders. So what are some ways that people can effectively launch their business online and off?
So I agree with everything she said. I think it's a critical element to your business because, if you did have a brick and mortar business or traditional business, you would be having a grand opening. And guess what? Your grand opening, what you would be doing before your grand opening is calling your list and inviting them to your grand opening.
That's right.
So I think in network marketing, it's so essential to have your launch. And even if you've been in the business for a while and, maybe you didn't do that, that doesn't mean you can't have a launch still. You can still say, hey, this is the official launch of my business. And I think there's a couple ways to do it. I think you can do it online. So, now
especially with the events now.
Yeah, with the events. And also, like, we live in a crazy technology world now, like with Zoom, how we're connecting with all of you guys. You can do a Zoom launch, invite your friends on Facebook, invite your list, and share with people why you're excited about the products, the business, how to get started. So that is one way to do it is online, doing it virtually. But also don't forget the power of live events. I feel like there's something magical that happens when you're in person, belly to belly, face to face, and getting to feel the excitement versus just seeing something virtually. And the road shows, great way to launch your business. If you haven't bought a ticket yet to one of the road shows and you're looking to have a big launch, your grand opening for your My Daily Choice business, buy a roadshow ticket. You can get them at hempworksevents.com. You can also go to My Daily Choice and click on events. And there's 6 roadshow events happening across the United States. So pick a location that's closest to you, bring your whole team, and make that your launch event. And that's a great way to spark some momentum in your business.
And here is the points of the launch, right? It's to get the prospect as much information as they can about your business, the products. Just try to download as much information as you can so that they can make an educated decision. If you're inviting them to a roadshow, they're literally going to get Josh and I, or our corporate staff, or professional presenters, or our top leaders that are amazing at presenting. They're going to be presenting for you. Like, that's amazing. We're going to be presenting for you. So if you ever have a better chance of closing your prospects, it's at an event for sure, at a live event. And if you are nowhere near the events, because maybe you're in international markets right now, maybe you're waiting for these events, don't hesitate to have your own event. You can start out with just a home event, right? And then you can grow that to a hotel event, and so on and so on. So don't let that discourage you if you're out of the area or whatever. Just know that the launch of your event is a super important step that a lot of people forget to do. So if you haven't had a launch event yet, take this as the opportunity to start planning the launch for your business, even if you've already been here for a long period of time. It's never too late to do a launch.
Awesome.
All right, next. What are we on to? The 3 simple step system. This is huge. This is very important. And we just kind of talked about it a little bit, but it's important to lay it out here for you guys. There's 3 steps when you are from the beginning of talking to somebody to when they sign up into your business, or when they become an affiliate, basically. And that is peak, present, pass. So I'm going to go ahead and let you explain this, because you actually taught me this when I was a newer networker.
Yeah, so I've been using this system for, I don't know, I feel like a dinosaur, even though I'm only 29, but I've been using this system since I was 18 years old. This is what was taught to me, and this is a universal 3-step system, no matter what country you're in, no matter what level of presenter you are. Literally take every variable out of it. If you can follow these 3 steps, you can be successful in this industry. You know what the problem is? is most people don't follow the 3 steps.
Or they put them out of order.
Or they put them out of order. Literally, that is the biggest misconception or challenge with these 3 steps is people do them out of order, or they leave a step out that's critical. So we covered a little bit about step 1, which is mastery of piquing interest, right? If you can pique someone's interest, if you can raise their curiosity, they're going to be interested in getting a presentation. They're going to want to know more. They're going to want to learn more about what you're doing. So in step 1, that's really all you're doing is piquing their interest. That could be, you can pique interest face to face. You can pique interest on social media. I can't tell you how many times Jen and I have been out and we're wearing a HempWorks t-shirt, or, somebody's asking us what we do for a living and we're talking about CBD, or we're talking about working from home, building a home-based business. And everybody's like, really? How do you do that? I want to know more about that. Can I do that? Right? So that happens all the time in conversation is piquing interest. And all you're doing is raising their curiosity. But the next step is when you're taking people through a presentation. So there's different forms of presentation. One is the pre-enrollee capture pages. So that is a form of a presentation, because once your prospect opts in, they're getting a 4-step video presentation: who we are as a company, the products, the comp plan, how to get started. So all of those videos are on the tour. Another form of presentation could be like a roadshow event. If you get somebody to a roadshow event, they're getting an opportunity presentation at that event. So that's the second step. Now, here's the difference is some people try to do a presentation before they have people that are interested, right?
They send their link before they even know the person wants to see their
You're
link.
like trying to body slam somebody with your link before you've even piqued their interest to know if they have any interest at all in your My Daily Choice business. So doing those two things out of step or out of order is a big problem. You have to pique interest first, and then step 2 is you're taking them into the presentation. Don't spam people with your link. That's not cool. Nobody likes that. So don't spam people with your link and it's like, hey, join my business. It's great. And I see that all the time on social media, not just in our company, but throughout the whole industry. People just have their link attached to everything, like link, 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 link. But they're not piquing interest or having real conversations at all. So that's step 1 is piquing interest. Then you go into the presentation. And then step 3 is where you're passing or you're leveraging an upline. And this is really important. And I think there's some misconceptions in the industry about how to do this step properly. I'll give you my take, and then I want to hear from Jen on how she's done it, or what your thoughts are on it. But having an upline in this industry gives you the ability to leverage them properly during this 3-step process. So being able to get your upline on a phone call, 3-way call, or even a 3-way chat puts you as a leader in a position to build credibility with your prospects. And I think for me, that was the most important thing, because when I started, I was broke, I was 18, didn't have a big warm market. So I needed street cred. Like, I needed credibility more than anything else. I'd try to sell somebody on the business or the products, and they're like, hey, I like the business and I like the products, but I'm not sure about you because you're 18, Josh. Like, how are you going to help me? Like, you're still like driving around in that broken car. Like, you just dropped out of school. Like, why would I join you? So I needed credibility. So I leveraged my upline. And the way that I leverage my upline is when I would introduce my upline to my prospects, I would let them know that this person was one of the most successful people in the company. Like, massive edification is what I gave to my upline. One of the most successful people, he's chosen me to mentor me. Out of all the people, he's working with me directly, and he's traveling the world. He's ranking up. He's making a lot of money. Look, he's on all the videos. And I may be able to get a couple minutes of his time to chat with you about how you could get started in this opportunity. I was a master at piquing interest, getting somebody to the presentation, and then edifying my upline to come in for the kill. And that 3-step system worked for me so well when I was 18 years old, because I didn't know all the information yet. I didn't have, like, I wasn't making a lot of money. So I needed the edification with the upline to come in, build credibility, answer questions. And sometimes, what's that saying, that an expert is like a stranger from...
Yeah, an expert's nothing but a stranger from out of town.
Yeah, and like, for real, like, using my upline was one of the best things that I could have done with my prospects. But I think the challenge is that some leaders do it wrong. They don't edify their upline. So like, it's like, hey, meet my upline, Jen. She's really great. Right? And then your prospect's like, okay, who's Jen? Why am I talking to Jen? You have to be able to edify your upline so well so that your prospect respects who they're talking to.
Yes. And notice Josh didn't say, I loved my upline. He was a great person. Like it has nothing to do with your personal feelings towards your upline. This is just a key component in building your business. Personal feelings aside, this is huge to be able to use and leverage your upline, whether you love them or not, okay? Hopefully you do, but if you don't, it's still important to be able to leverage that relationship to give you credibility in your business. For me, when I started My Daily Choice, first of all, we all started with 0 volume, okay? It was a 0 company from ground floor, 0. So it wasn't like I could leverage my story. I didn't have a story yet. I was brand new to the business. So I leveraged Josh's story because he had success from his previous company. So my first week, I leveraged his story, and every person that I got on the phone, I talked big game about Josh Label, like every single time. And by the time they were ready to talk to him, they were like, whatever Josh says, I'm listening to, because this guy sounds like he knows exactly what he's doing. And if I have a shot at this, industry at all, I got to listen to what he has to say. So it has nothing to do with, if you are just like love your upline or you hate your upline or whatever. Like, this is a professional business. And let's not forget about that. It's not just about the social circles that you find yourself in or the groups that you find yourself in. It's about being able to leverage the relationship to build your business properly. So after I did that a few times, here's what happens when you do this properly, these steps properly. After I leveraged Josh's story a few times after my first and second week, I had my own story because he closed all my prospects for me. After I got them interested, after I told them about the products, I did all the hard work, but I passed it to him to close it out, right? So after all these people joined, I then had a story. I had a successful check story, as we call it in network marketing. Then I was able to leverage myself, and then now all my new team members were now able to leverage me. So you see how this duplication process starts and how it continues down the ranks.
Yeah, it's a huge step, and if you have an upline that you're working with, that's a great way to do it. Now let's talk about if you don't have an upline, or maybe you have a unsupportive upline. Let's talk about what to do in that scenario. So you had a shitty upline. Why don't you talk about what you did when you weren't able to leverage my story?
We're gonna edit that out so you go beep in the back office. Okay. Yeah, so I didn't have the greatest upline, you guys. For sure, everybody actually thinks that I just appeared and never had an upline. I had an upline, okay? And he wasn't the greatest network marketer of all time, let me tell you. Okay, in fact, he ended up tearing apart my business at one point in time. So, for me, I had to step into the role of the upline. I had to become the upline myself. And also, I went above him, right? I went higher and higher until I reached the top. And eventually, he had to take my calls because I was putting him on the phone with so many people. Like, he didn't have a choice. And that's how you want to use your upline. You want to keep them busy, right? Get them on all those calls. Get them closing for you left and right, because success loves speed. But for a long time, I didn't have an upline. So I had to become the leader that I was seeking out. And we all have the opportunity to do that. Whether you have an upline or love your upline or not, right? You can still be the leader yourself. And in this business, you guys, this is the cool thing about our business. You ready? the people at the top have network marketing experience. So eventually, if you go enough levels up, you'll eventually get to us. So I don't believe that you don't have an upline. I don't believe that. Maybe your direct sponsor isn't there, right? Maybe that person above them isn't there. But if you keep going, eventually you're going to get one of us. And if you are blowing up your business and you've got a list a mile long and you're absolutely crushing it, of course, we're going to help get on these calls. We'll do a Zoom call with all your leaders. We have no problem doing that. But of course, invite them to this training first. So, you know, how to become the upline that you need to become. Lead by example. Lead yourself first. You know, plug into the weekly trainings, plug into the corporate communication, do all the things that we've already talked about. Lead by example and be the person that you need to be for the people that are in your team so that they feel comfortable leveraging you. Now, if you're the upline that's tearing apart your business, okay, or your team doesn't feel comfortable coming to you, then this is an opportunity for you to grow as well, so that you can maybe change your strategy a little bit so that your team will leverage you the right way. It's never too late to reinvent yourself. So don't be afraid to step out into a role, even though it's uncomfortable at first.
A couple things I'll add to that is in the first company that I was in, when I was a distributor there, I had an upline that was an experienced networker. So had a lot of success in the industry as a networker, but like morally and ethically, he wasn't totally there. So I learned a lot about the skill set that I needed to be a network marketer and to be successful. But later on in the business, he actually became a very damaging upline to our organization. There was a lot of drama going on, a lot of cross recruiting. He eventually got terminated from the company. I had several uplines after that. My team got moved around. Like, it was just total chaos. But one of the things that I learned, and I see some people commenting this as well, and Jen touched on it a little bit, is if you don't have an upline or you have a bad upline, that means that you're in a position to be the upline that you've always wanted. And that's something that I had to learn in my career. Is I got to the point where I was going to build the business with or without an upline. Like, regardless of if I had an upline or not, I was going to build the business, and I was going to create a big enough story in the company where I didn't need to edify anybody else, because everybody was going to be edifying me. So that's what I did. And in that company, I hit the top rank in the company when I turned 21 years old. So the very, very top rank, 21 years old, I hit it. And then everybody was leveraging my story. But I would have never got there if I didn't get into that mindset that I need to be the upline and not just be like upline dependent or sponsor dependent, where I like, oh, I don't have an upline. Now I got to go find a new company where I can find a new upline. That doesn't work in this industry, because it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. You may think, and some of you probably have awesome uplines. Like, we got a lot of great leaders in the business, but it's not always going to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, that just means that it's your time to shine. It's time to step up, rise up, and you be the upline that you need to be. So just understand that that's the real talk, and the reality of this industry is you don't always get a good upline. Jen didn't have one. I didn't have one. But sometimes you do get a good upline, and if you have a good upline, man, you better be leveraging your upline properly, because a lot of people aren't in that position where they have a good upline. So definitely be edifying them, leveraging them, even if you don't like them. Like Jen said, take the personal feelings out of it. Like, I look at this like, I need to build a business here. So I may not agree with their politics. I may not agree with everything with their style of training. But if they're my upline and they're ready to run with me and talk to my team and get them fired up, and it's third-party validation where I can bring somebody in to create momentum, you better damn believe that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leverage my upline. So, definitely do that if you've got a good upline. If you don't, be the one you've always wanted. Okay, let's move on to events, and then we're going to try to keep these webinars about an hour each week. We may go over a little bit if we get like really inspired and motivated, but we're going to try to keep them right around an hour. But let's talk about events. I believe that events are one of the most powerful ways to inspire your team, motivate your team, get your team engaged, enroll new prospects. And it's very important that you're leveraging the corporate events that we're doing as a company. So you want to talk a little bit about your experience with events, promoting them, why people should plug in to the events at all?
You know, because when you're building your business, whether it's online or even if it's in person, you're one person to that person that you're prospecting, and you're one person to your team. When you bring your whole team or your people to an event, they get to see the entire big picture. They get to see the vision of the company. They get to see the culture of the people. They get to see the whole corporate staff and how we all work together. And I think that's super important to leverage that not only do they get Josh and I, not only do they get you, but they have a whole company backing them. I know for myself included, like going to a company convention, even we were shocked. We were like, oh my gosh, like this is so much bigger than we even realized. And it's our company. And we were blown away, you know? And when you bring people to these events, it gives them the opportunity to think, wow, this is amazing. Not only that, they get to hear from real life people that have had success in the industry. It just builds their belief so much bigger that when you come out of an event, you're a changed person. I mean, I don't know anybody that's left an event that didn't have like a life-changing experience. And what you really want in your team is to have a lot of people that have super high belief, because the higher the belief they have in themselves and in the company and with the corporate staff that's backing the company is going to help them grow and feel like they can actually do it. And I think there's just no price on that. So it's so important. If you guys haven't been to an event yet, you need to get to an event because you've only seen this much of the business. When you go to an event, you get to see the whole big picture, and you get so much information just downloaded at, you know, all at one time that you literally leave out of there a different person.
100%. And just one thing I'll add to what Jen said is that the number one reason why people quit in network marketing is because of belief. 100%. Whether it's belief about the company, the products, or belief in themselves, or, you know, they can't do it anymore, or they're just not sure, you know, or they're not excited, whatever the situation is, it's usually around some sort of belief issue. And one of the things that I've realized about events is it is the fastest way to build massive belief with your team, because what they experience at a live event is unlike anything they will experience on a Zoom call, on a webinar, going through a capture page tour system, checking out the back office. Like imagine you brought your whole team together and you took a rocket ship and put it underneath your team and then you set it off. That's literally what you're doing at these live events. So the roadshow is a great way to start. And here's the other thing too, with the roadshows, every prospect that comes to these events that pays for a $20 ticket gets to enroll for free at the events. No company in the history of network marketing has done that. Literally, there's no one. Every prospect that pays a $20 ticket at the event can enroll for free. We are waiving the $20 enrollment fee at every single one of these events for prospects. So imagine you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 prospects at each event. They see the opportunity presentation, new product launches, they hear a ton of testimonials, they get to eat lunch and mingle with all of the top leaders, take pictures with, you know, whoever invited them to the event. Then they get trained on how to do the business. And then guess what? They get to enroll for free. Imagine you had tons of prospects at these events. That is like one of the fastest ways to create momentum in your organization, but you have to take it seriously and you have to invite people to the event. Just like I know leaders that are like, hey, I'm promoting the events, and they posted it once on their social media. That's not promoting an event. That's posting about an event. There's a difference between people that promote events and people that talk about events. To promote it, you have to actually invite people to the events. You got to get on the phone with people and say, hey, Jen, are you meeting me in Vegas, March 21st? Are you coming to the road show? And actually confirming people that your prospects don't just say they're going to be there, but like, hey, I need to know, I'm doing a head count. We're doing a huge launch March 21st here in Vegas. Are you going to be at the event? Yes. Okay. Next prospect, next. And you go through your prospects, you go through your team, and you just start confirming people. You invite, confirm, invite, confirm. And that's one of the best ways to really leverage the live events. And every time I talk to leaders after these events, they always say the same thing. I wish I had more people there. I wish I brought my whole team to this. I wish I had more prospects here. And that's really the last position you want to be in, is at the event, you're all fired up and nobody from your team's there, and you didn't invite any prospects. So just make sure that you're leveraging these events and get your ticket. And when you get your ticket, you can post that out to your team and say, look, I got my ticket. I'm confirmed for these events. Are you confirmed? Lead by example. Show them your confirmation ticket so that they do the same thing. And then all of those road shows lead into conventions. So it's a great way to kick off 2020 the right way and build some massive momentum and beyond. Okay.
Last but not least, right? And then we're going to wrap this up. You want to take action. So I know this has been said time and time again, but it's so important to have your people and yourself take action immediately. You don't want to get stuck in training mode for the rest of your life. Okay. We have people that literally are preparing to work, and they're like spend years just preparing to work instead of actually getting down to it. And I feel like people prepare to work who are afraid of the outcome. And you cannot have any fear in this business. Just decide right now that you're going to be fearless and that you're going to take action and that you're just going to get in there and do it. And yes, there's going to be some no's, but there's going to be some yeses. You're going to mess up along the way, and that's perfectly fine, and that's normal. You're going to burn through some of your list, and that's okay too, because we're going to be building a new list consistently. So do not be afraid to just get in there and go for it, because ignorance on fire is worth way more than knowledge on ice. If you're the person sitting in the front of the room that's just taking notes all the time and you're never putting it into action, it's not going to build your business. So last but not least, we want to just bring that message to you, that it's so important to take action, even if you don't have all the facts. It's okay to not have all the facts, but as long as you're taking action and you're putting into place on a daily basis, your business is going to grow.
I'll add just a couple things and then we'll close the webinar. I really like what Jen said about preparing to work. I feel like that's kind of a weird thing in this industry. It's a trap. People get trapped. They're always getting ready to get ready, and they're never ready. They're just like, what are you doing? I'm getting ready. And then 3 months later, what are you doing? I'm getting ready. And they never are actually ready to go to market. They're always just getting ready or preparing to work, or they got to clean their office. I run into that trap too, because I'm like, hey, I got to clean my office. Jen's like, how many times are you going to clean your office? Like, let's just get to work, right? So we get into that trap in network marketing where we feel like we have to do things before we talk to people, before we do the money-making activities. It's like, we got to prepare first. We got to have all the answers first. And just to reiterate what Jen said, you really don't. Ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. And if you don't feel like you have to be the presenter or always be the message and you're just the messenger, then that's the way to really crush this thing. You got to put your blinders on, got to stay focused. So that's all I got to say.
All right, guys, now you've heard it. Thank you for joining us on our first ever training. We will see you next week, Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific. Thank you guys for hopping on. We'll see you next week.
Thank you guys. See ya.